Hello, lovelies. Just another quick update. So, what do I have to report? Let's see. The second Gore adventure, I'm about halfway through statting up all the pre-gens, and I've got the skeleton for the extra material. I like to put a little bit of bonus material for longevity in each of the Gore adventures. So that should be done today, hopefully. Trying to find artists to work on that, which is tricky for obvious reasons. I did have an artist who I quite like the look of, who approached me, but then they've dropped out of communication. So I like to give people the best chance possible, and they're an enthusiast. I did email them saying, hey, not sure about you, maybe could you do me one piece, and I'll pay you for it regardless, either way, just to make sure that your style is right, or that you can modify your style to suit the project. And I haven't heard anything back. So I'll give them a few days to get back to me, otherwise I'll pass the work on to somebody else. And I've got other people clamouring for work, because obviously everyone's in a bit of a hard-up situation at the moment, but I'm almost tapped out on how much stuff I can commission, at least for this month. So I will be getting back to you. I'm just trying to distribute the work amongst the people who need the money and the help the most where it's all possible. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. But as soon as I get the art, I can go into layout on the first Gore adventure, and then the second one not long after that. Then there's another autopsy to lay out and edit. That shouldn't take too long, a couple of days. And then I'll be back on working on Whitechester. So, yeah. So that's what's going on in terms of work. One video project's on the back burner. Another one's stalled while we wait for a finalised script. And another I can't really talk about. So that's those. I hope to find some time to do some more just stuff for me at some point. I've been asked to play Neverwinter Online, but it's finding the time amongst everything else that I have on, plus running an online game 3 nights a week. It's quite a commitment. I'm glad I did it. I'm enjoying the games. It's different to my usual style, because normally I run very off the cuff, very improvisational, and I'm playing through set adventures, which I don't typically normally do every day. So that's a bit of an unusual experience, but I've been so put off running games online for various reasons: lack of confidence, imposter syndrome, being a perfectionist, wanting things to go just right. It's been a good experience to get out of my comfort zone and just run the games for people, some of whom I know, some of whom I don't, but all of whom I'm now getting to know through gaming. You know, and to have something up there that is more like the real face of gaming, I think, which is just people sharing their imagination, stumbling over the rules occasionally, sometimes having everything come together just right. I think that's a more honest take, complete with all the jokes that don't necessarily land, or the grossness that goes slightly too far. I think that's a far more interesting and enlightening kind of game to put online than these highly produced, slightly scripted shows that we more often see. But that's just my personal preference. I don't watch a lot of game playing online. I don't necessarily understand why people do, but if I want games to be up online, I want them to be warts and all to demonstrate the experience, I guess, even though it can't stand up to the experience of actually playing. So yeah, that's where I am on most stuff. The extra stuff in the Gore modules. The first one will have expanded flight combat rules for Tarns. It's all about getting the right position and height, or outrunning your opponent. So that's quite interesting. Kind of riffing off the chase rules I did for Agents of Swing and some others, even though it's an entirely different system. But still, there you go. And the other one has a random Thalarian generator. So Thalarians are any big prehistoric beast that's amphibious or lizard or dinosaur-like is considered a Tharlarian on Gore. So I've put together a semi-random generator if you just want to come up with some random gigantic beast for your players to terrorize or to be terrorized by. So yeah, that's interesting. I did offer a guy some work doing another Gore module, but there was a side quest, sort of back burner type thing. I don't know when or if they'll actually come through, but yeah, they seemed keen. So why not give people a chance? I say, why not? I had a really strange dream last night. I used to dream a lot, practically every night, and I also used to be able to lucid dream to an extent. That's where you're aware that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, and you can direct and control your dreams to an extent. And I learned that because I was suffering from nightmares, and the way I dealt with them was to learn to lucid dream, and then whatever was attacking me, I would dream up that I was in Terminator armor or something, and could therefore deal with whatever it was. Or later on to dream about the kinds of things that I wanted to dream about, almost like, you know, popping a DVD in before you went to sleep in a lot of ways. Somewhere along the way I lost that capability and stopped having dreams anywhere near as often. I think a lot of adults report that. I don't know whether it's just because I'm sleeping more shallowly, or we don't remember them, or something changes neurologically, or whatever. But last night I had a very weird dream. Now, I'm not given to spirituality. I know why I dreamt about the things that I did. It relates back to the Dragon Warriors game, really. Been thinking about character progression for the various characters, including our barbarian, who's sort of a Howling Wastes Sammy type, Finno-Ugric sort of barbarian who rides a battle elk. And I've also been I recently reread the prose Eddas and the Mabinogion. And Dragon Warriors is very medieval, but also the old religions, the old faiths, all that kind of stuff. All the various religious influences on medieval Britain. So I know all of that was swimming around in my head when I went to sleep last night. And I dreamt that there was an icy waste, and there was a black-furred wolf with a grey muzzle and one eye carrying a pure white Arctic fox in its mouth. And it was running along through the snow as best it could. One of its legs was crippled, and it arrives at this stone temple complex, whatever, and there's the Aurora Borealis all overhead, and it looks like that temple in Iceland that I'm kind of semi-obsessed with because I think it's absolutely beautiful. And the wolf marches up to one of these stone archways, and through the archway it's not winter, it's spring, and there's, you know, great lush green grass and water and warm sunlight and anything. And the wolf puts the fox down, and the fox trots through the gateway into the summer lands beyond, and slowly turns black as it runs across the fields. And the old wolf just lays down and dies. It's a bit weird to have a dream like that, watching it sort of third-person perspective. Normally, if I'm having a dream, it's me in the dream doing something. This one wasn't so much. I don't know whether it means anything. Probably doesn't. Most dreams don't. I think it means I went to sleep thinking about various mythologies and spiritualities and character progression for players in my game, and those images somehow churned up all that. But if you think it means something, by all means tell me what you think it means. Zang.